at my sickbed to do this short video, and you always know it's towards the end of the week when Mark arrives in with his camera. And what a week it's been. We had the spring statement, which totally and absolutely underwhelmed everyone. A very bad government trying to make a PR virtue out of a European Union necessity and failing miserably on all fronts. We also had the scandal of site-serve in the IBRC breaking. Now, this has been a long time in the making. Pierce Doherty first asked questions way back in 2012 and was stonewalled by Michael Noonan. And sometimes commentators and government supporters talk about this as if it was a very, very complicated affair. It's not a complicated affair at all. The fact is that hundreds of millions of taxpayers' money was written down and companies were sold off at a very reduced rate to insiders. And in the site-serve issue, and there are up to 30 other transactions, in the site-serve issue, which was a busted company, the shareholders were given 5 million of taxpayers' money. So we're still trying to get information out of the government, and their replies are opaque and non-informative. And in my view, there's been a cover-up, and they've been sitting in this issue since Pierce and others raised the questions 3 years ago. And what's interesting is that when Mr. Noonan was sending his non-informative replies back to Pierce Doherty, his own officials were raising concerns with him about all of these matters, and indeed had asked for an independent review of all of the transactions involved. Of course, the Taoiseach has refused to have a commission of investigation, and he's ducking and diving on this issue. And what most people find appalling is not just confirmation that this is Fianna Fáil light, a Pinocchio version of the old insider tactics of Fianna Fáil, but imagine how many people have tried to get a write-down on their mortgage debt, how many families have tried to get write-downs on other punitive bills that they've been sent to. The government won't legislate for that. The government gives the banks the veto, but the government has no problem about hundreds of millions being written down and taxpayers' money being given to these insiders. We also had the writ moved in the by-election for Kilkenny-Carlow, or Carlow-Kilkenny, depending on what county you're from. And Kathleen Function is our candidate. I was there last night with Mary Lou MacDonald, and we're in to win that seat. You know, it's the People's Day on the 22nd of May, the day in which there's also 2 referendums, but you know, the people will decide. We're doing our very best to ensure that rather than a recycled Phil Hogan representing the area, or one of the old Fianna Fáil coming back from the dead, that we actually have a break in the cycle of bad politics, that we elect Kathleen Function, a young trade union and Sinn Féin activist, and the response on the door has been very, very, very positive. Now, we don't take anything for granted. Kathleen is an outsider in terms of Paddy Power and the bookmakers, but we're very, very firmly of the view with the increase in support for the party in the constituency in the last European Union election, and indeed in the local government elections, that if we really make the effort, can persuade people to vote for change, to make the change, to vote for real Republican politics and for a fair recovery. So if you're from that constituency, vote Kathleen Function on May the 22nd. If you're not from that constituency but you want to help, contact Sinn Féin. We'd be very, very welcoming of anybody that can come in and help in that campaign. Before then, of course, and by the time we talk again in this video, we you will have had the results from the British general election, the Westminster elections in the north. And a lot of our people are very, very focused both in retaining the seats that we hold and trying for breakthroughs in other seats. So we'll keep you posted on that as it develops. Thanks for all your work. Keep going. Remember, we're winning.